Everybody loves a good old quien ganaría. And regarding the Souls community, I think there's no bigger quien ganaría than Let Me Solo Her versus Let Me Tank Him. Both are players famous for helping other gamers beat Malenia and Promise Consort Radahn respectively. They are basically community heroes. But being the insane PvP autist that I am, I can't for the love of me not wonder who would win in a PvP fight. Fortunately, I don't have to wonder because there's actually a video of them fighting each other. However, the fight itself left a bit to be desired for my taste. But hey, put down that pitchfork. Seriously, put it down. No, not in your ass, on the ground. I'm not here to be mean, okay? I understand that both Tank Him and Solo Her are not PvP players, so it's normal the performance was not going to be stellar. But what if it was? What if we took both our builds, polished them without deviating from the core concept, and gave them both the proper optimal combat strategies? In that case, who would actually win? I'm sorry, I'm just very autistic. I like to talk about these things. I suppose the first thing to do will be to show you the fight in its entirety, while doing some commentary along the way. Don't worry, it's only 1 minute something. Your low attention span brain is gonna be safe. Alright, so I did watch the fight before, but it was quite a while ago, so I don't really remember what happens. So it's gonna be kind of a blind watching, but yeah, let's see what the fuck goes on.
Can I parry a shield?
What?
Kick.
Oh.
Wait,
I
now.
can't parry it.
Okay, after a rough start, he tried to parry the shield. I really didn't test if you can parry small or medium shields, but I know that you cannot parry, like, great shields. But okay, he tried, he saw that he can't, and that's fine.
I don't know, because you have it two-handed, so I'm kind of curious myself.
Wait a second. Look at his run animation. He's fat rolling. Let me tank him is overloaded. No, sorry, not overloaded. He has more than 17% weight load, so he fat rolls.
I can't
So
parry it.
he can't really roll. That's a huge advantage for Let Me Solo Her because he has light roll.
I'm kind of curious myself.
Okay,
No, he has the.
that's
Let me go back.
very good. He tried to parry that again.
You bastard.
Oh no, okay, he tried to parry the... It seems that he tried to parry the thrusting sword. Yeah, but the thrusting sword is absolutely lethal because he has no voice. And it's also bleed and rot, and he has no armor. He's gonna get bled and rotted really quickly.
Let me tank him.
Okay,
as
he's
the
trying to parry
charge,
the-
which is gonna be very useful for him, 'cause that can just
The thrusting
unlock
sword,
solo
shield poking,
infinitely.
for some reason back to the shield,
No.
Things.
and that's why it's not a good idea.
He's figured out
Okay.
how long the
Shield
charge
poking.
time is on the attack.
Trying to parry the shield
I
poking,
don't think he
not
can parry the
not
shield
bad, I
attack.
guess.
We can talk
He's
about
done.
this, Okay.
He's done. He can't trade anymore. One shield poke and he's dead. That's an Ash of War choice.
Oh, come on.
Is that magic?
Okay, okay.
That's my least.
That's
favorite
actually
thing.
very optimal, I would say, but
I'm telling
make
you.
use of the
Magic, this is
thingies and go attack him.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
magic
Magic
isn't
isn't bad
very long.
if they're not spamming.
If they
Oh,
fall
God.
down,
That's a long
No
range.
way. Okay, so right from the get-go, we can see that Tank Him seems to be higher level than Solo Her. You can tell because of the scale down icon beneath the life bar. So their levels are not exactly equal. Tank Him has a small advantage. Tiny, but it's there. Now, regarding their builds and performance, they were not great. I'm sorry, there's no sugarcoating it. They were not good. They just were not good. It is what it is. Solo Her seems to be using a Cold Uchigatana on what I assume is a dexterity focus build, judging by the damage he's dealing. I mentioned this in the review segment, but he has no fucking armor whatsoever. That's very bad in PvP. In PvE, you can try and dodge everything, like the whole fucking meme of I don't need vigor because I don't intend on getting hit. Well, it doesn't work like that in here. By having no armor, he takes much more physical damage, he's very vulnerable to status effects, and he can't passive poise through any attack due to only having 10 poise, which is what the jar helmet is giving him. So any hit from the light attack chain of Tank Him's thrusting sword will stun him. If Tank Him simply presses the light attack button on proximity to Solo Her, the latter will never have priority. Like, he's gonna be stunned by every attack and he will simply have no chance to attack at any time. I suppose Solo Her could use his Ash of War, Divine Beast Frost Stomp, but it's very slow and Tank Him has no reason whatsoever to march forward. He can just stay back and never get hit by it. Attempting to parry the thrusting sword was actually nice, whenever he wasn't trying to parry the Great Shield, but trying to look for a setup up instead of randomly parrying the air would have been a better approach. Overall, the build is fundamentally flawed from the get-go and not prepared to deal with Tank Him or with any PvP enemy at all. However, Let Me Tank Him's build wasn't very poggers-poggerinos either. Gamers seem to be under the assumption that Let Me Tank Him's build is broken. I mean, I saw a video talking about it, saying how one player created the most broken Elden Ring build, and I made a poll not so long ago when some gamers were saying in the comments that the build is broken as well. But this is not true, not for PvE and especially not for PvP. Let's start with the fact that bro was fat rolling. You can tell by his running animation right here. You see that he's running like he had a sack of potatoes under his ass. That's the running animation when your character is over 70% weight load. And if you try to roll on over 70% weight load, you fat roll, and that's a huge disadvantage from the get-go. Maybe Let Me Solo Her can't particularly make Tank Him run out of stamina due to his build being dogshit, but any other player not restricted by the wholesome Changus cosplay syndrome would body Tank Him, because he would be unable to roll away from danger. Anyone with the smallest bit of PvP knowledge could easily tear him apart by using Starfist with Endure. Bolas deal a fuck ton of both regular and stamina damage. If Tank Him attempted to trade or shield poke against an optimized Bolas user, he would either get out-traded or guard broken, which would mean death. And since blocking doesn't work, that only leaves rolling, which he cannot do. So no matter what a lot of people say, fat rolling is not viable in any way in any serious PvP match. So off with that. The meme of doing the running attack with the shield wasn't a great option either. Not only is it easy to strafe and backstab, the blocking frames on the attacks are not particularly great either. It's not great for fighting in any way, to be honest. His Hanspur Rapier is bleed, and he has 51 arcane, and while that's okay in PvE, in PvP, anyone with slightly good status defenses were just like brush that shit off. His build is much more efficient than Soloher's for this PvP match. I mean, bro will never run out of stamina by blocking Uchigatana attacks, but it's still not great in the grand scheme of things. But back to the rumble at hand, even if we don't count when Soloher healed after testing parrying the Great Shield for some reason, Tank Him would still have the upper hand solely because of his build. If he merely plays reactively, Soloher has very little options here. So what could he do to improve his chances of winning? For that, we're gonna give him a whole build makeover. And fuck me, I'm already screaming in excitement like an autist. I tried to ask Soloher for his stats, but he fucking ghosted me like crazy, so we don't have them. However, we do have Let Me Tank Him stats. So we are gonna craft a level 186 build for Let Me Soloher, for them to be the same level. And here it is, with a focus on strength and dexterity, basically equality. The core theme of Soloher's build, at least during this fight, is a samurai-like character, so katanas are a must. First of all, we're gonna dress him up. Naked is simply not an option. With these armor pieces, he will have great defenses as well as 113 poise, if we include the Bulgo Talisman, which will allow Soloher to passive poise through even the first attack in the thrusting sword light chain, assuming Tank Him uses it with one hand. We are gonna get rid of the Uchigatana and replace it with a Nagakiba. 3 different Nagakibas to be more precise. A cold Nagakiba with Spinning Slash, a quality Nagakiba with Sword Dance, and a lightning Nagakiba with the Cake Ash of War. Nagakiba is simply superior to the Uchigatana. In PvP, there's no reason to use the Uchigatana at all. The damage is extremely similar, but the difference in range is absolutely bananas. Soloher can easily outrage Tank Him with any of the Nagakiba's attacks, especially the heavy attacks, due to their poking nature and forward momentum. Spinning Slash can be used from max range to inflict huge amounts of frost, and it works especially well on the Nagakiba because the Nagakiba uses the fast version of Spinning Slash despite its range. Once frost is inflicted, Soloher can hard swap to the quality Nagakiba with Sword Dance to deal optimal damage, as there's no need to inflict frost until the debuff runs out. Sword Dance is amazing for fighting small faster weapons like thrusting swords because of its inherent hyper armor, allowing Soloher to trade in his favor. The one with Kick can be used in case Tank Him gets too close. If Soloher kicks into the shield or during shield poking, it's an instant guard break, which means a riposte and insane damage. If he kicks into a normal attack, Kick will poise through the attack, stun Tank Him, and allow Soloher to deal a free hit. The buckler can be replaced with a Twin Bear Kai shield with Carrion Retaliation, allowing for easier parries, as Carrion Retaliation has a bigger parry window than buckler parry. One could repose with the Misericord and it's most likely over, or very close to it at least. Twin Bear Kai shield also gives a defense and damage boost to Soloher when his HP goes low, allowing for a sort of second phase and final stand. As for talismans, the two-handed sword talisman works for bigger raw damage, the Heber talisman helps break Tanghim's guard, and the Great Jar arsenal allows Soloher to wield all of his equipment without fat rolling. This build absolutely counters Tanghim's whole premise. He gets out of range with an Aokiba, he can't reliably shield poke without risking a guard break, and he can't mash light attacks because Soloher now has both passive poise and an Ashe of War with hyper armor. If they were to fight in these conditions, and assuming both Tanghim and Soloher are of equal skill, the latter would easily win the match. But what if Tanghim also made changes?
And if I have to be seen with you, we need to make some changes.
Changes?
The first thing I would change would be the fat rolling issue. I mentioned this before, but Tank is carrying so much equipment load that his rolling animation is compromised, and this is absolutely unforgivable in PvP. Fat roll covers a much shorter distance than normal rolls, and has much less iframes. It's basically a death sentence in PvP against someone who's not flatline on a brain activity monitor. So we are taking his stats and changing them from this to this, alongside the Earth 3 Favor +2 and a helmet change to the Lion Imp mask, which gives 2 additional vigor points. With this setup, Tank can now properly mid-roll. We remove the Arcane because it is not gonna be needed. The core aspect of shield poking is retained, but the Anspur Rapier is gonna be replaced by the Lance. His all stats did not give Anspur enough raw damage, and applying status effects to Soloher 2.0 is much harder due to now having actual defenses. So, focusing entirely on strength, which is needed anyways to carry the Great Shield, made the most sense. Verdigris Great Shield is also replaced by Fingerprint, Shield and Finger, because Verdigris is stuck with Moore's Charge, while Fingerprint can be given the no-skill Ashe of War, which allows Tank to use the Ashe of War of his main weapon, Flaming Strike. Flaming Strike is one of the best Ashes of War for PvP, because of the ridiculously high active frames of the fire, which also always stuns by the way, allowing for heavy keep-off strats and mix-ups. The two-handed heavy attack is also super strong for trading, being able to beat nearly anything Soloher could throw at Tank. And the most obvious change of them all, do not use Great Shield attacks anymore. So, now that both are ready for an actual PvP match, how would it play out? And who would have an easier time winning? From Soloher's perspective, his best bet would be to make use of the Nagakiba's insane range to poke from, well, much range. He can't realistically expect to deal big damage though. He's gonna have to chip Tank away and hopefully annoy him enough for him to make mistakes that lead into a parry plus riposte. That's where the big damage actually comes out. Confusing Tank by hard swapping Ashes of War is a good idea to make him second guess each approach. Using greases such as blood, poison, or lightning can help apply pressure through the shield or on phantom hits regarding status effects. On Tank's side, the most optimal thing would be to keep a reactive position as much as possible, or at least enough for Soloher to lose his patience and attempt, like, marching forward. Once Tank gains priority, the mix-up with the Lance, light attack chains, heavy attack, crouch attack, or flaming strike can make it very difficult for Soloher to get out. Jumping light attacks are also great on Lances and a nice way to get in without taking any big risks. From a matchup perspective, on a 1st to 10, I would say that by build alone, Tank will win 7 out of 10 times. Soloher needs to get in much more times than Tank, and his margin for error is also much lower. On the flip side, a few good parries can be the end, but they are not easy to land. I am gonna tell you that they are not easy to land. So, in conclusion, I would say that the thumbnail they used for the video is pretty accurate. Although it would be fair to say that, in the end, we all won. Imagine having a community so rich and so nice that a fight between 2 random players becomes an epic battle of history, where everyone cheers for their favorite and enjoys every second of it. I think we are fucking blessed, you know, to belong to the Elden Ring community, and I really hope it keeps growing forever, even after the next installment from FromSoft comes out. And I gotta tell you, it has been such a ride. From the beginning of this channel to now, I would have never believed how far it got, and it was all thanks to you, little poggies. I gotta be honest. Muchas gracias. Los quiero mucho. So, Happy New Year to the usual and new poggies as well. Have a wonderful time with your family and friends, and I'll see you on the next year. That's all it. Ciao.